Good morning, guys. Gonna wait for a few people to jump on. This is the first live I'm doing with our new internet out here at the farm. So hopefully you guys can hear me good. Go ahead and just type in and where are you tuning in from in the world. Let me know how your morning is going. So I'm hoping the sound is okay. Awesome. Oh, Melissa, you saw it. Great. Hi, Susan. Welcome. Good morning. Awesome, guys. So I just was really inspired. I just did my morning meditation earlier today. Ciao from Italy, Luciana. Ciao. And I wanted to come on here. I was a little upset last night, and I was just really irritated that my posts were getting censored on Facebook. And I know that communicating with the world and building businesses on Facebook and connecting with people, it's, as one of my mentors said, it's like building a house on rented land. And I realize that Facebook owns this property, right? Like it owns us when we put stuff up on Facebook. But I don't like the feeling of being censored or having our freedom of speech be minimized. And so I wanted to come on this morning just to talk about how we as a collective society and culture can continue to what I call opt out of the toxic agenda. And I'm going to kind of like walk you guys through that, of what that means in my mind, and when I talk about it with people, what I'm really trying to say, because I meet people from all over the world, and there's a lot of people, I would say thousands and thousands of people that think and believe a lot of the stuff that I do, which is that, number one, we don't deserve to be controlled and manipulated on any level. We're divine human beings, and we deserve to live healthy, happy, free lives. And right now, especially in the United States, but all over the world, we're facing a really toxic agenda. And I'm going to break that down because it was interesting. I just got back from Mexico a couple days ago. I was there with my husband. We were celebrating our 10-year wedding anniversary. We met people from all over the world. It was so neat. And sorry guys if my eyes are moving everywhere. I never know where to look on these things because it like the light like blinds you, so I try to look off. But anyways, we were chatting with a gentleman from the UK, and he was so interesting, and he knew so much about what I call the agenda, and he knew about chemtrails, and he knew about vaccines, and he knew about government control and how they spy on all of us in this little place called, a little place in Utah. And it was just really interesting. And so we're chatting with him, and my husband's like asking questions, and I'm like, oh my, what are the chances that this guy would just like be at the bar next to us, right? Because just everything I talk about, so I was kind of sharing with him what I do, and he just thought it was really neat. And then 5 minutes later, this other gentleman walks up, and we end up asking him what he does for a living and where he's from, and he ended up working for the Department of Defense. And so there we were with these like polar opposite worldviews, right? And so I started chatting with the guy, thank you, Mary. I started chatting with the gentleman that works for the Department of Defense, and I just asked him a couple questions, and I just said, do you love your profession? Do you love your job? What attracted you to that type of profession, and how long have you been working for the government, and how is that going for you? And he just kind of sighed, and he's like, it's a job. And I could tell he really didn't love it. I could tell he wasn't passionate. And so I said a couple things, and I said, we were just talking about this and that, and what I call the toxic agenda. And his face kind of dropped, and I said a couple more things, and he goes, wow. He goes, how did you know all that? And it just was an interesting conversation because he's like in it, right? He's in all the stuff, and we talked about the center in Utah that spies on all of us and our cell phones and all this stuff. And he's like, how did you know about that? I'm like, well, I've studied it for 10 years. So here we were with a guy from the UK, another guy from the Department of Defense, and we're having this great discussion. And so I wanted to come on today because as I was traveling through the airport, and we were going through customs, and they make you scan your face now on this little machine. You have to put your passport in, they scan your whole face, and then they make you walk through like 4 different lines to check who you are. And you're walking back into the United States, and there's American flags everywhere, and there's our vision statement of our country everywhere, welcome to the United States of America, and there's all these symbols of freedom. But I have never felt less free in my life in those moments. You know, they're checking our passports like we're drug dealers and all this stuff. Like, they make you feel like a criminal. And I just thought, what an interesting dynamic that here we are in this beautiful country that's founded on these principles of freedom and prosperity and abundance and liberty for all, right? But yet we don't live in that true culture. We really don't. And so it's something that we have to create in all of our own lives. So how do we do that? And so I wrote a couple notes. I'm a sticky pad person. I don't know if you guys, if you're entrepreneurs, like I love sticky pads. I put them all over my desk, and at the end of the day, I crumple them up with Triumph if I finished it. But these are just some of my thoughts for the day, is that we really truly are in a war for our minds, our bodies, and our souls. And what does that mean? It means that we are facing entities, evil energies, whatever you want to call it. Larry's saying we live in the matrix. Yes, a lot of people call it the matrix. Yes, we do. We absolutely live in the matrix. That's not conspiracy theory. You can break it down and you can research it and you can see that it's true. We live in a very backwards society, but we are at war, and we are at war for our See, everybody loves sticky pads. See, Larry Cook loves them too. Hi, Larry. Welcome to my live. Thank you for being on. Do you guys like the farm? There's like, I'm like in this little sunroom on the farm. It's cool. So there's a war for your body, mind, and spirit. And this happens through TV. It happens through the news. It happens through movies and music. And they try to control your mind. And then through your body, they try to control your body. How do they do that? They do it through food. They do it through pharmaceuticals. They do it through government mandates that say you don't have a right to know what's being injected into you or your children. You don't have medical freedom rights. I was interviewing a gal that's gonna possibly be my housekeeper up here, and we ended up talking the other day, and she said something, and it caught my mind. And you guys know me, I talk to everybody, and so I asked her a couple questions, and it turns out she knows a lot about the pharmaceutical toxic agenda. And she started to mention the Nuremberg Code. And I thought, how amazing, this young girl, she's in her early 20s and she's, you know, pregnant. And so she knew about the Nuremberg Code and how that's been disrupted here in the United States. So it's just a war, you guys. It's a war, and you have to, just like in any battle, whether it's a spiritual battle or a physical battle, you have to, yeah, she's hired, totally. She was amazing. You have to outsmart your enemy, right? And sometimes that's so negative, and it can be draining to think about, like, that we're fighting this big, you know, whatever it is, because the agenda, when I say that, like, it's not one person, right? It's multiple companies, it's multiple people, it's multiple negative energies that are attacking us. And if you're a spiritual person and you believe in energy, which I do, it is spiritual warfare. We are in spiritual warfare. So you have to outsmart it. You have to rise above it. You have to do things that help you opt out of that matrix. So what does that look like? I'm going to break that down for a second, but they control your body through foods, and they control your body through pharmaceutical. They also control your body through water distribution, all of that stuff. And then how do they control your soul? Well, your soul is divine. It is free no matter what country you live in, no matter what your current situation is. You were born free. And so it's how do you reconnect with that? How do you plug back into that energy? And how does the government and the toxic agenda control you? Well, they control you through finances, right? We know that. We know I'm gonna get a little bit out there right now, but you know, creature Jekyll Island, the Federal Reserve, it's not a government entity, it's a privately owned organization that controls all of our money. It's completely against our constitutional freedoms and what our founding fathers created. So you can go down a whole rabbit hole of that, but it's important to understand. So where you put your money is important. How you make your money is important. If you work a 9-to-5 job, if you're controlled by a boss, you know, all this is why I'm so passionate about entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship gives you the freedom to create and design the life that you want to live. So audit the Fed. Yeah, I know. That's a whole, like, I could do a whole Facebook Live on the Fed, right? The Federal Reserve. Okay, so they control you through money. They control you through credit. Like every time you walk into a store, there's a store that wants you to open a new line of credit, right? Oh, they're going to give you 5% cash back. They're going to give you 10% cash back. And all of a sudden, everybody has 15, 20 credit cards with different balances on it. Like That's how they control your money, you guys. You're constantly in debt. Being in debt is a poverty mentality. It's scarcity mindset, and it is from the devil. It is not from you. Like, God meant you to be abundant. Look around in nature, because I teach people about money, and I teach people about residual income, and people are like, they have a scarcity mentality, and I get it. I grew up in a family that did not have money. I grew up poor. I grew up afraid of money. I had to learn about the laws of money. I had to learn how to respect money. I had to learn how to create money in a way that felt good for my soul. So I always tell my coaching clients, look around nature. Do you ever walk into a grocery store and see scarcity? Do you ever walk into a mall and see scarcity? Do you ever walk outside in nature and see scarcity? No. You see scarcity where humans have created it in their mind, because scarcity is a disease that lives in the population, because we're programmed to fear money. We're programmed to fear credit and debt, but yet what you resist persists, and what you think about you attract. So if you're afraid of debt, you will attract it into your life. And if you're afraid of money, you will repel it, because it is an energy, and it is a spiritual energy that has to be honored. And we don't ever own anything, right? Money comes to us and flows through us. It's not we don't own it. It's just, it's a give and take. It's a flow, almost like an ocean. If you think about the ocean, the waves come in, it crashes, the sand absorbs some of it, and some of it goes back out. Like, money is like that in your life, but also health can be like that. So they control your soul through credit cards, through debt, through constant advertising. My gosh, we got off the plane and there was like a Victoria's Secrets in Cancun. We got off and I was like, why is there a Victoria's Secrets like in the, like there was so much junk to buy. It was just like crap. Like I was like, I don't want to get off an airplane and go buy underwear. Like, I don't know. I guess maybe if you forgot your stuff, if your luggage got lost, but it's just everywhere we go, we're bombarded with advertising with stuff that we really don't need. And moving and transferring our life up to here to a simpler life, and we're creating a self-sustaining property, and we're going to have solar, we have our own water, we're going to be growing our own food, we're going to be opting out of a lot of this toxic agenda. It's like the more I look at stuff, I'm like, I don't need that stuff. Like I don't need that. I want to give it away. I don't require that. Like it's not of you. Like we're so addicted to stuff in our society, but that's part of the agenda. They want you to be addicted to stuff so that you keep buying their stuff, because buying their stuff makes them really, really rich, and it makes you really, really poor and in debt. And so that is a mindset that you have to control. So the other way they control your soul is through minimizing God. And if you look back, like our nation was founded on principles of God. Our nation was founded on principles of Jesus. Like it doesn't matter what you believe, because I was raised in and this is going to sound weird for some people, but I was raised in a household where we honored every religion. So I've studied Buddhism, I've studied Christianity for years, I've studied Hinduism, I grew up with a meditation table, and incense in my house. People would come over and I would get teased as a kid. So I respect and honor every religion. There's one God and there's different paths to God. However you choose to get there, that is your personal relationship with God. I choose to follow Jesus. He's the person that I relate with most in my life at this point, after studying all sorts of religions, and I absolutely love my Lord and Savior. But they minimize God. No matter what your religion is, there's only one God. Okay, so they minimize God at a foundational level. So that's why God's been taken out of school, right? And the separation of church and state and all that stuff. But our country was founded on principles of the human spirit and being divinely connected to something. And so we've lost that. We've totally lost that. And what was Jamie saying? That's so true. Pharmaceuticals are the mark of the beast. Yes, if you read in the Bible, the mark of the beast. I used to think, oh gosh, my phone's getting low on battery. I used to think that the mark of the beast was the RDIF chips, right? Because they are going to chip you. And I realized that this weekend at the airport, when we had to scan our passports and this thing came down and like read my face, I was like totally freaking out, you guys, because my husband's like, calm down, and of course they put a big X on my face. I had to go through a separate line, so I was freaking out. I was like, oh, they're gonna, like, I don't know what they're gonna do. But I let fear kind of creep in, because when you're in that situation, it's kind of scary, and it just feels very aggressive, and it feels very it just feels like somebody's coming into your life and trying to take control, which is what they're doing. But eventually, I do believe they're going to try to chip the population. RDIF chips have been around now for many, many years. The media doesn't talk about it that much, but they do exist. You can Google it, you can learn about it. So anyways, they do that by minimizing God. They minimize God in schools, they minimize God on the radio, in movies. Like we're so far from our spiritual creator that we lose track of who we are. Because here's the reality. if every single person on this feed and everybody that watches this video and all the people on Facebook that follow this page or whatever, or just anywhere in the world, if you started to step into your true power, you started to awaken, you started to treat your body like a temple, you started to control your mind with only positive thoughts, you started to monitor who you give your energy to and around, your life would start to change. You would start to attract more health, more abundance, more freedom. And the toxic agenda can't sustain itself, right? Because it's built on, we say this in the vaccine industry, but it's built on a house of cards. It's built on lies. You were not meant to be poor. You were not meant to be overweight and diseased and sick. You were not meant to be depressed. You were not created to do nothing with your life. You were not created to sit around and wonder why you're not happy. You were not created to do these things. Like, you were created for a divine purpose to come here on this planet to do something amazing. And it has to do with helping others. If you're not doing something that's helping others and uplifting the planet, then you are not living into your purpose. And sometimes I'll get on the phone with people and they'll say, well, Brittney, I don't know what my purpose is. And that's okay if you don't know, but it doesn't mean you don't have one. Does that make sense? It doesn't mean you don't have one. Just because you're not consciously aware of your purpose yet, it does not mean that you don't have a purpose. You're here. If you are breathing, if you are walking, if you are listening to this right now, you have a purpose. You have a purpose. And if you're going through a challenge, and if you are experiencing some sort of disability or some sort of setback, resistance in your life, that does not mean you don't have a purpose. That is what the pharmaceutical companies want you to believe, so that you just take their drugs for the rest of your life and you just keep popping pills to kind of keep your mindset like somewhere else so that you're not conscious of what's going on around you. And that's how they do it. So how do you opt out of that? So this is what I was saying to the Department of Defense guy. So imagine me in Mexico. We had a couple beverages, and then I'm like breaking this down to a guy who works for the Department of Defense. But he was so cool and he was so open, and we just talked about, he goes, so how do you tell people how to like get out of this? And I said, well, first it starts with freeing your mind. You have to be awakened to that which is trying to control you. You have to wake up. You have to realize that the government doesn't serve you. You have to realize that the pharmaceutical industries don't care about your health. You have to realize that our food is toxic. You have to realize that the banking system is highly flawed and skewed, not in your favor, okay? The house always wins in gambling. The house always wins in banking. So figure out where your money is, where you can put it in, get it out of the big banks, put it in credit unions. Just be conscious of that, like know where your money is going. And if you don't have that much money, then listen, because I'm going to teach you how to start to attract and change that a little bit. But so the first thing is you awaken your mindset, which also awakens your soul. And when you're tuned into your soul, God will guide you. Things will show up in your life. You'll meet a person that changes your life. You'll have an opportunity come in. You'll find thank you, Kelly. I know I'm on fire today. It's the farm. The farm makes me on fire for freedom because it's like amazing and I feel blessed to be here. But you have to get back in alignment with your soul. So if you don't meditate, if you don't pray, I'm going to encourage you to take 2 to 5 minutes in the morning and just breathe and just start to ask yourself, God, what is my purpose? Show me my purpose, what you want in my life, and people will just start to show up. Opportunities will just start to show up. It's just the law of attraction, but you have to tune into it. It's like a radio signal, okay? And so if you are tuned to the wrong radio station, you're going to have static. Just like in your car, if you flip around and you go to, you're not quite in tune and alignment, you're not going to get the clear sound. So you have to calm yourself. You have to calm your mind. I know I'm fired up right now, but I actually have a lot of peace in my body. So I'm in tune with what my creator is trying to tell me all the time. So that's why I'll come on here and do Facebook Lives, because it's usually from an inspired place. So that's one of the ways you start to free your mind, free your soul. The next thing is you start to free your body and your life. How do you do that? First of all, you cleanse out your body. You cleanse out toxic products, toxic people, toxic relationships, toxic thoughts. You get rid of it. You release it. You get rid of clothes that don't fit you. You clear out your house. You get rid of stuff that isn't serving you. So look around your environment right now. If you're at your home, and is there clutter? Is there things that you don't require anymore that you feel suffocated by when you look, and then you procrastinate about not cleaning it or not getting rid of it? Like, that's a sign that you don't need that stuff. Like, let that shit go. Let it go. Let it go. You're gonna feel so much better. Rent a dumpster, get a thing. Go donate stuff to victims of the hurricane and stuff right now. People need stuff. Like, those people need stuff. You don't require all the stuff that's in your house. I guarantee it. I guarantee you have too much stuff, too many clothes, too many shoes, too many pairs of whatever. Like, you have too much stuff. Get rid of it. People need it. So it's energy. It flows. Again, the ocean coming in, coming out. Same with money. So You're going to start to cleanse your body. Then you're going to start to become aware of what the pharmaceutical industry is doing to you. And if you are taking medication, know that you don't require that medication probably forever. If it's a mindset medicine, I'm not a doctor, I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm going to guarantee, though, when you start to awaken your soul and you start to get in alignment with your body, you're probably not going to need some of the stuff that you're on. Now, if you have a certain health condition, you have a certain chronic illness, and you have to be on, there is a time and place for Western medicine. I'm not totally like a woo-woo person. It's like, oh, we're just going to, like, I am not Christ. I can't heal people with my thoughts. Like, but you can. Your body can heal. Your mind can heal your body, okay? So just know that that's an option. Read books like Louise Hayes. I send that book to everybody. I love Louise Hayes. She's like a 5-time cancer survivor. She healed cancer. So she goes through, breaks down all the different things from headaches to cancer to chronic, fatigue to all sorts of different, to bug bites and pimples and things like that. She'll break it down, your thought patterns, and you can look at the thought pattern and go, and every time it's spot on. Every time. I've never opened that book. It's called Heal Your Body A to Z, Louise Hayes. Look it up, get it on Amazon. It's like $10 or something. And you open it up and you're like, oh, dang it. Like, I have been worried about that. I was thinking about that. No wonder I have had this ailment in my body. And then you can take back control. So I'm going to put it out there that most of the things you're taking medicine for could be controlled in other ways, through diet, through mindset, through spiritual healing, whatever. But again, if I get hit by a car and my legs are severed off, like I probably will want some Western medicine for a minute, and then I will figure it out on my own. But that's something that you can start to question in your own life. Like, how much of this do I really require, and how much can I start to shift? And then the last thing is to rebalance your life, to free your life, is, are you doing something that you dislike every day? Are you doing something are you going to a job that you feel robs your soul and takes your spirit away? Or are you living into your purpose? Now, let me tell you something. Living into your purpose is scary. It's not all sunshines and roses and every day is smooth sailing, and working for yourself and creating a business for yourself. It's not easy. That's why most people won't do it, but it's worth it. It's worth it if you do it. And the bottom line is this, is that you're going to have fear no matter what you do in life. People reach out to me like, Brittney, you're so brave. You have no fear. I have fear. I just feel the fear and do it anyways. Like, getting on Facebook in front of thousands of people and talking about stuff, it's not easy all the time. I just feel called to do it. So I show up in my life, because at the end of the day, I feel like my life is a gift and I get to be here right now in this time and space in the world. So I'm going to do whatever I can to make the world better before I leave. So that's the way I live my life every day. Do I do it perfectly? No. Do I have bad days? Absolutely. Do I have ups and downs and challenges? 100%. I've got 3 kids. I run a business from home. My husband's a fireman. He's gone a lot. He faces really scary stuff in his career. So we're just like anybody else. We just had one of the toughest months ever in my life. Like, moving out here and changing our life and buying a farm. Top 5 hardest things I've ever done in my life. Not gonna lie. People are like, how's it going? I'm like, it's been hard. I didn't have internet for 2 weeks. I'm running a business from my phone. We had so many issues with our escrow, and half the property was broken. Like, it was just crazy. And a million people would have quit. A lot of people would have just quit, stayed in their cushy little house. Like, we had a beautiful house that we sold, and we didn't want that because we wanted something different. So you have to go through the resistance. You have to go through the challenges to get to the good, right? It's not just like your life just becomes cushy and awesome overnight. And it's never like that. There's always different challenges. So when you awaken into your life, know that you will be faced with challenges. And here's the next thing. This is also what the toxic agenda wants you to think, is the minute you hit resistance, it's a sign you should stop. You got to quit. You got to give up. Oh, it's not the right timing. Oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, so-and-so is going to judge you. Oh, this is going to happen. Oh, your family won't understand. Like, no, like, you have to keep going through that. And you can't look at those moments of resistance as failure, because they're not. It's just part of life. When you decide to change your life, resistance will come. It happens every time to every person on the planet. Resistance will come. Now, how you deal with resistance is how you will move through that challenge and the person you become on the other end of it. So starting to create a life of freedom, it starts in your mind, in your body, and it starts to then affect everything, because your relationships will change. How you think about conscious awareness will change. You'll start to attract different things, because at the end of the day, we're all just cellular energy. And so when you break it down on a quantum physics, I love quantum physics. I know that sounds really geeky, but I've studied quantum physics for probably 10 years. And if you know law of attraction is quantum physics. Okay, law of attraction is an easier version of quantum physics, but everything is energy broken down on a cellular level, and it has a vibration. It's either high vibrational or low vibrational frequency. Money is energy, so health is energy. Every product, and I do this at my seminars, I'll actually do muscle testing on people with products. Every product you put in your body has an energy. It's either a positive energy or it's a negative one. It's either helping your body. So it's either helping your body or hurting your body, and it's energetically putting your body back into alignment, or it's energetically getting your body out of alignment. So if you don't feel good right now, if you're depressed, if you're not making money, if your health is in the toilet, it's because your energy is out of alignment. You have to shift it back. So what type of products are you using? What are you putting in your body every day? What are you putting in your mind every day? How are you showing up? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Are you surrounding yourself with people that complain, that are negative? And here's what I'll say, like the pharmaceutical medical freedom movement, I've met thousands of people all over the world that are so amazing, and some of my best friends have come out of this community. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you who show up on these lives, who share my stuff, who send me hundreds of messages a month. Like, I am so grateful that I get to be of service to you. But here's what I want to say. Our movement has a tendency to be very negative. And I struggle with that too, be very negative, because we're faced with really dark stuff, right? We're faced with children dying, being disabled. We're faced with freedom rights being taken away. We're faced with people going bankrupt because they can't pay their medical bills because pharma's come in. So we're faced with all this negative stuff. And I have struggled with this for the last several years, where sometimes it'll be so heavy on my heart. How many empaths do I have on the feed? You know, give me a 5 if you're an empath and you feel other people's pain. It's devastating, right? But our movement has a tendency to be negative, and we try to fight and push and push and push and push our agenda on the world. And I realized the other day that we're not going to get much further than we are in terms of creating a social and worldwide revolution of humans that are awake if we're resisting. Like, we're resisting Pan, right? We're fighting Pan. We're always fighting Dr. Pan. If you don't know who Pan is, you know, Richard Pan, look him up. You'll figure it out real fast. Yeah, 5. So many empaths on here. So it's like, but we're resisting it, right? I mean, we're marching at the capitals. We're calling our senators. We're angry. We're so angry. And it's like, we're going to get some stuff done right with that, because with anger comes passion. But if we constantly function in that energy of anger, we're going to keep attracting it. And then it's like, I see people in the movement fighting with each other, and you know, it's not good. So we need to start to raise our vibration. How do we do that? We do that through education. We do that through mindset. That's one of the reasons I created the vaccine course that I'm doing. And it's one of the reasons why Dr. H and I are really, really passionate about what we're doing and how we're showing up in the world. Hold on, you guys. My beautiful friend Emily's walking in your Facebook Live in front of lots of people. Come in and say hi. So, hi. So, you guys, it's just really exciting. But part of the reason that I did that course is because through education comes empowerment, and through empowerment comes love, and through love becomes understanding. We can change the world from the inside out. So you can't just talk about all the things that you dislike on Facebook and then expect the world to change. Like, you have to show up and you have to change the world with your energy every day. So how are you going to do that? And that's why I'm so excited. We're almost sold out again for our second class. Today's the last day. Before I forget to mention this, today's the last day for early bird enrollment. You get $100 off the course. It's a 6-week course, one-on-one. With myself and Dr. H. We have a private Facebook group. You guys, it's amazing. We're certifying people, vaccine education specialists. It's the first time ever done. We created it. No one's ever done it before. We had our first class graduate. It was amazing. If you were in that class and found value in it, comment on the feed so people can see. But we really want to change the system from the inside out, but through love, right? Not through resistance and fighting and negativity, but through love. And how do you do that? You awaken people's minds and you start to show them the information that's right there in plain sight that they just didn't know, and then they can take that information and they can become empowered in whatever way works best for them. So that was what was on my heart today, you guys. This was a really long Facebook Live. I don't know how many minutes I've been on, but you guys get it. So the toxic agenda, you got to go through those in your life. You got to start to opt out one by one. Mind, body, soul, finances, all of that stuff, and just starting to, oh, Bobby Jean said, yay, Bobby Jean, I'm so excited that you're going to be in the class. It's so awesome. And Kendra, thank you. Susan, thank you. Susan's taking our class again. She's a veteran. Amazing warrior mama, vaccine injured child. Susan, I love you. You're so amazing. Thank you for being on. So guys, I just wanted to share that because I see so many people struggle every day. I wanted you guys to have an empowering day. So look at your life, figure out what area you need to start to reshift and focus. Is it your mind? Is it your finances? Is it your body? Is it your spiritual growth? Is it who you align yourself with, who you surround yourself with, all that stuff. So with that, I'm going to go. I'm going to hang out with my friend Emily and have a beautiful, blessed day. Be healthy, happy, free. When they censor you, just get on and do a Facebook Live anyways. Okay, guys, that's my motto. So I don't like to be censored. Thanks, Larry, for being on. Love you guys. Have a great day. Bye.